Across the plains, through realms of shadow and over misty hills, two wandering souls are drawn together to explore worlds. Mountains and trees, rivers and ruins birth forth at the stroke of their pens and swipe across their tablets. Fellow travelers, welcome to the Mappening. Here we are, guys. We're mapping.
Greetings.
My name is Nate, guys. I think you know me, but I'm joined by someone whose voice you may recognize. Hankerin over at Drunkens and Dragons and Runehammer Games. How you doing, Hankerin?
Great, man. The timing for the Mappening could not be better, as I've recently put a ton of work into mine, so I've come a long way since my last stream.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, I've been watching all of your streams, your mapping streams, and absolutely loving them. So yeah, we'll get this thing going here. I am working on a commission map for a dude, and I'm getting near the point where I will be scanning it and doing some digital witchcraft with it, but sticking to the old paper paper and pen for now. And I'm also munching on peanuts, which is a bad time to do that. I also realized I left my beer up in the fridge, so I'm gonna need to run away while you entertain these good people. But we'll do that in a minute.
Yeah, you're gonna need that beer.
Yep. Water for now, but yes, got a cold one up there waiting for me. So yeah, welcome everybody. I first of all want to give a quick plug before we get going to some of the good stuff Hankerin has going on. I put a link in the description to his YouTube channel, which I assume most of you are subscribed to because it's awesome, Drunkens and Dragons. But also, you got a new Patreon thing going, Hank. So what's up with that?
Yeah, I started an offshoot on Patreon, just basically to assist with the valleys between book releases to keep my mortgage paid and so forth. Sure as hell, and to my wonderment, we've already made our first patron goal, which was 100 patrons. So that's totally awesome. But mainly the Patreon page it's just audio. So I do stories and chapters from novels. And the first patron reward goal that I did was to let the patrons choose a novel written exclusively for Patreon. And the one that they chose is the story from Burning in New Haven, which is one of my YouTube videos. So we're getting kind of this crazy crossover of sort of audio storytelling and encounter design going.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really fun. And then we had a recent poll, and it sounds like the patrons really want to hear some more talk about game design and RPG talk and stuff like that. So I think it's going to kind of keep expanding, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Well, that's great. And yeah, you're a guy who just has so many creative outlets, the writing, the art, the game design. So I can see that, yeah, just all those things kind of coming together so beautifully.
Yeah. And the more you do them, the more they feed into themselves, and it just keeps unfolding and craziness.
Yeah. And you mentioned it, like there's a side of Patreon that's like, you're asking for money, which is kind of awkward. But the side that I've been surprised by too is that I've made relationships, and it's been a way for people to give me input in a more intimate setting, kind of, because there's not a ton of patrons, compared to the subscribers on YouTube and the comments on YouTube.
Are so good.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, people seem to be shouting out where they're from. Yeah, that's cool. John Libby's in Texas. Hey, John. Hope you're safe down there. To all our brethren and sistren in those areas affected by storms and natural wildness. Hope you're okay. Daniel T from Oregon, what's up? And Alec Visser, who I happen to know is in Chicagoland. Victor Dante from Brazil, what is up? Critical Masterpieces right here in Michigan. Welcome. Yeah. Got my pens of various sizes. I'm going to get drawing here. I think I'm going to start off by drawing some tree trunks, which is going to be really exciting to watch.
And each tree trunk will show your love and attention to detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I did the straight up triangle method. My last map, I was actually inspired by your trees quite a bit there, Hank. The one I finished last week, I did more of the, the kind of like that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're doing yours solid black. I just kind of did mine with a thick black outline, not thicker than that.
Yeah, and one thing about doing the solid is it's a little bit of a slippery slope. And once you go there, it's hard to come back.
Yeah.
Like and everything starts wanting to be a little more filled in, and it can be a bit of a trap,
Right. But I've learned a lot from your videos just on the whole balance of having enough black, right? And so you're right. Once you have it in one region, you got to match that in the other regions, right?
Yep. Yeah, if it gets too heavy, it just starts propagating itself. It's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've stayed away from doing that for the most part, but I would love to just. I still, I didn't go to art school or this is a fairly new pursuit for me getting into this. I used to doodle when I was a kid, but this is all pretty new to me. So I still feel like I'm finding my style. I'm not there yet. But
same here. I did, the oddity of cartography is kind of like you mentioned, like triangle method on tree trunks and stuff like that. These kind of funny little tricks. But I found a new one just today, which is dead pine trees that I've been doing.
Oh yeah, show me. Ooh.
So I have this little area called the deadfall. And I mean, this is just a vertical line drawn from the bottom up and then little branches. And then here's another like dead forest.
Yeah, it looks good.
But they're the silliest little techniques, but they are far from obvious when you're doing this.
Yeah, totally.
How to do something like a dead pine tree in a way that you can do, 200 of them rather than 5.
Yep.
And you just start finding those little tricks. And to me, that's always one of the funniest and oddest, strangest behaviors of cartography is being like, oh, look, there's a cactus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I'll do 1,000 cactuses or cacti.
Yeah. No, I'm loving the look of your map. It's been very inspirational for me to tune into your videos. I was telling you, I never catch them live for the most part, but watching them after the fact while I'm just doing dishes or whatever has been a treat. So what are your goals for the night?
Well, I if you could see that right toward the beginning, so I have kind of made this final leap into finishing, which is this regional version. So these are the 16 kingdoms in my world, and I kind of got them delineated, and then it was a matter of getting all these selections and getting these borders clear. And now I'm going in and I'm really sort of filling in the missing spaces and making sure that all my features really match these borders. So a good example is like there's this little kingdom of Numidia, which is a sort of intrusion into the kingdom of Gray, which is much larger. And so now that I have that border, I could put these little sort of post fences, these little fort fences all along the border of Numidia here.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just doing more and more of that. So I'm just making sure that that feeling of balance all fits, like where there's a little bit of breathing space where you could kind of improvise some new material.
Yep.
But like there are neat little features that like really match the borders. So right now I'm just kind of floating around the map and looking for places where it's either, you know, kind of bleeding over the border in a bad way, or the border is kind of left hanging. So like this is another one that I like, where the dead pines kind of follow the border. So it's like, you know, that you're leaving Scar and going into Nordheim when you go into this dead pine forest and stuff like that. So you're trying to give those transitions kind of meaning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in another crazy development of events, the giant orc that I rolled for Megan and Connor's game got into the New Haven novel, and then that material found its way right here to the map. So this little gladiatorial arena right here is where the backstory of that character took place.
That's awesome.
It's like, yeah, so these threads are all like crisscrossing in crazy ways.
Yep.
You never really could plan, but they sure get interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing that I've been loving about watching your map work videos is, which people should go check out over on the old Drunkens and Dragons, is that you're building stuff so fluidly and just kind of on a whim, and commenters in the stream are chiming in and saying, what about this? And you're like, yeah, sure. And I used to do more of that, and but I've been taking some commission stuff to pay the bills, and but it's making me think like I need to get back to my homebrew. I need to give that another pass, because that was my original mapping series, was all that, and that was the first map I had ever drawn. And it's like, man, I can do that so much better now, and I can't wait to do it so much better. So I need to get back to it, and yeah, then just change it too, you know. I'm not happy with the coastline. I'm not happy with, you know, whatever. And now I've learned that this isn't the way that the mountains should be, or what, you know, whatever. And so I can't wait to give it another pass. That's going to happen sometime in the coming months.
Yeah. It isn't even really intended as like some kind of, you know, YouTube gimmick or something to be open to what people watching are saying.
Right.
You know, to me, it's more like a sort of tried and true creative method.
Exactly.
Is that the more you can listen honestly to what the third party is seeing, and then, you know, satisfy those expectations and those instincts, just everyone wins. Like, you get a better piece of art.
Totally.
The sort of the audience, or the viewer, I suppose is a better word, kind of gets what they're expecting or looking for.
Yeah.
And you just get more depth, and it just goes places you never thought it would. And I just think it's a better creative method. It does require a little bit of a, you know, sort of taking your pants off creatively, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be pretty just open to whatever's going to happen. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, that's the beauty of tabletop RPGs too, right? Is that collaborative storytelling.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just things that you would never expect.
Yep. Things that might even make you panic a little bit in the moment, where it's like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the end, it's worth it. So the last map I
assassinate the king. Yeah. Oh no, what were you saying?
The last map I did, it was for an author who had like a very limited region where there were trees, which kind of struck me as odd, but I assume it's all explained in his books. I didn't read them. And so I just felt like on this one, I'm unhinged. I'm drawing trees everywhere. Like, but it feels good to be able to like say like, oh, you know, over here, and kind of how you have on your map, like much less dense, like, you know, little forests, but just kind of like scattered trees. And I feel like I'm excited to do that. You know, just getting, just here by this village, there's going to be, you know, I'll just draw 3 little trees here, and there's, you know, 3 little trees over there, and there's 5 over there, and there's just 1 right here. And I'm excited to just kind of fill in space like that.
Yeah. In my mind, if I draw 1 tree at this scale, it kind of means 1 small forest.
Yes.
So if there's 50 trees, that means like there's an expanse.
Yeah. It is thick.
You know, at least as far as, you know, traveling and idea making.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. I'm going to be right back and get my drink. Be right back.
Right on. So if you guys see me cruising around here, what I'm doing is just sort of trying to feel where I either get bored or things are over busy. And then I'll just kind of do my deed. I'm also sort of feeling some stories that are developing from this map, and I try to sort of lean in on those stories. So, you know, like Scar, I had imagined is this kind of nomadic kind of realm of horse people, kind of like Mongolia with cactuses and stuff. And so that's a novel idea and whatnot, but then to visually capture it, how do you do that? And I started doing these funny little corral fences. But they get that message across, like this kind of feeling of woodwork. So then I just have to go in and propagate an idea like that. And that's what takes an eternity.
All right, I'm back.
Apparently these guys have wooden watchtowers at their borders. So if you do one, it's best to do like 21. The cartographer's code.
I'm gonna keep your screen on here while I address some the chat a bit. I didn't really finish the shout outs. I cut that off too early. So Chris from Saskatchewan, Canada. We've got Felicity from Queensland, Australia. Welcome. William Pfeiffer from DC. I didn't know you were from DC. Cool. Alec, yes, we do have to play Overwatch. Yeah, someone asked about my pen looking a little gray. It's probably just because my lines are thin. I don't know. Maybe I need to adjust my camera. But yeah, it is black. Just my trusty microns, Sakura Micron. Let's see what else people are saying. Hunter asks you, how's the Haven novel coming, Hank?
It's about 5,000 words complete, which is the first 4 chapters. And if he's familiar with the encounter, I am just at the point where the heroes are seeing little Anna being put up on the post, and that the town is kind of getting ready to watch her burn. But this is where what's so fun is that my new character Chain is now in the story. And so it's great to have Chain in there. I mean, Chain has a absolute moral compass. Like, he is not open to any compromise morally at all. So he's really a fun character there. And then my heroes are more scoundrel-like. So they're kind of, you know, a lot of people responded to the burning in New Haven by saying, oh, well, I don't have to save her. I'll just go in the tavern. So even though I absolutely can't stand that kind of attitude, I could see how, again, it's that viewer perspective. I don't want to deny that perspective. So I'm trying to sort of see inside that thinking a little bit. So I made my heroes kind of scoundrelly.
Yeah.
Like they're not sure they should help.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that unless it's a one shot, you know, in a campaign, I generally steer my character, my players toward heroes, you know, toward,
yeah.
I mean, generally good heroes. I mean, no one wants a goody two shoes too much, but heroes that are human, broken in some ways to make them interesting. But yeah, the murder hobo thing it wears on most DMs, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's okay to have like one kind of terrible crime that the group commits.
Yes.
Because that actually can sort of, you know, bring the Avenger.
Yep.
And if you have that Avenger in your story, that can be pretty cool because it's sort of a pursuer, you know?
Yep.
But if you stack your crimes, that's not good.
No. You don't want the GTA situation where you commit a crime and you kill somebody and then all the cops come and then you're just like, I'm gonna take on all the cops.
Yep.
That was when I was 20 years old. Now I play GTA differently.
The enlightened GPA player or GTA player.
Yeah.
I'm so much more.
I lied actually. I'd still do that, and then I reload my game.
I love the video where Conan O'Brien is playing GTA and they won't let him in the strip club, so he blows it up with a helicopter.
Oh man, I love those Conan O'Brien video game. What do they call them anyway? I can't remember.
Yeah, Clueless Gamer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Yep, so great. When he played The Witcher, it was so hilarious, man. It was awesome.
I still like the I don't know if it's Mortal Kombat 9 or Mortal Kombat 10 with I don't know, some NFL guys. It was, oh man, so good. Mm-mm.
All right, there. So I've got my obligatory mysterious giant rib cage out in the plains here.
Yep, I love it.
Oh yeah, another thing I got in, which is from the third Runehammer novel that's not out yet, is these the Colossa, which are these fallen giants that are dormant now.
Yep.
And there's 4 of them, so I have them at the 4 sort of cardinal directions. As mountain ranges, you know, they're huge. I can get those guys into my map, and it's awesome. It's great to have like a dude laying there on your map.
Yes, they're so awesome. I love that.
Like, and then the one down here in the desert was like some kind of pyramid-headed snake colossus thing.
Yep. So cool. So cool.
Yeah, I'm really happy to have those guys appearing finally. In the third novel, the hero camps inside the head of one of them.
That's great.
And she kind of uses like the eye holes like a lookout.
That's so cool. Chad Nick, welcome, man. Welcome. Good to see you. Chad asks, also are you using a tablet or a PC and a mouse? So Hankerin, I think you use Photoshop with a tablet, right?
I use Photoshop with a Cintiq, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking at the Cintiq. I officially added it to my wish list a few weeks ago, my Amazon wish list, and I'm like, okay, someday that's happening.
Yeah, it is definitely investment. That is for sure.
Here's what I like, the kind of thing that would benefit from getting off track here, but I'm doing it anyway. The kind of thing that would benefit for me is like if let's say I'm doing like a mountain ridge line where I'm doing, okay, there's my ridge line, and then I'm doing some lines off of the ridge line to form the slopes. Like that's the sort of thing where like that connection, like drawing from the ridge line, like making that connection is really hard unless you can actually see where it is physically on your tablet or on a piece of paper.
Yes, even when you're really good at a Wacom tablet, you never quite have have that sense of where your the tip of your pen is.
Right.
Yeah, it's somewhat abstract.
Yeah. So you have a little gap right there, or you cross over too much right there.
Yep.
And then
same with drawing little circles and stuff. You'll often miss your starting point.
Yep.
With a tablet, whereas with the Cintiq, you can really, really nail it.
Yeah. So someday that's on the it's on the wish list.
So this is the sort of capital city of my whole world, and I think it's just too small. So I'm going to keep on building it.
Okay.
I'm going in.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I'll tell you that. All right, so I got my my reference map here. I'm gonna check out. I've showed on the last mapping, I showed it up on my wall. This is just up on my wall, like right over there, and it's about, I don't know, 10 pieces of paper. So I gotta kind of, I could look on the wall, but I wanted to show you guys too. What am I missing here?
So are you able to reveal what this commission is for?
It's just for a DM, I think, who's yeah, I can't even remember what the world is called, to be honest.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's just for a pretty cool DM who wants to do it big.
That's awesome.
My last one was for Jesper Schmidt. He's an author. I think he's maybe like Finnish or something. He's European anyway, and or Danish, and Yeah, so he's gonna be doing like a giveaway or something for his some of the fans of his novel. He's already got a map in the novels that he commissioned from someone else, but this is like a big poster size he wanted from me. So yeah, but all right. So this is plains, and this is trees. Okay, so I need some more trees up in here, and more mountains, I think. Yep. But yeah, after this commission, I think I've got one more, and then I've been telling people it's gonna wait a while, partially because I've got a busy fall, but partially because I like I said, I want to get back to my own map. You know,
Yeah.
There's that the creative juices are starting to flow for that, and I need to do it.
I've noticed too that with commissions, if you have a bit of a rhythm of your availability, it actually can help your your patron or your commissioner sort of show up. You know, if you're open all the time, I think there's a little less excitement about being able to access the skills.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's at least what I've found is like I'll have a kind of an open period and then closed for a while, and then when you open back up, there's some people out there in the street camping out for their concert tickets.
Exactly.
And that's a good feeling. That's I like that.
It is. Hey, Hankerin, would you show me when you're? Well, let me just see what you're working on there. I gotta draw a tower, and my current tower here looks exactly like a penis. So. Okay. Yeah. I like what you got going there.
Oh man. Yeah, I try to avoid the Disney castle.
Yeah.
So I'll usually try to get sort of square topped stuff, like more
Yep.
I guess sort of early Celtic, like Arthurian kind of age, when it's rectangular tops on things.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I think this one, let me look at the map on my wall here. Oh, it's a lighthouse. That's why it looks like a penis. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to think about that one. But I'll at least draw the sides for now.
Ooh, a lighthouse. That's a cool idea.
Yeah. It's like on this little...
I would have a lighthouse like out here. I'm going to just bite that.
Yeah, do it, man.
That's a cool idea with a cool little staircase.
There you go. So this one's way out here on this little island too, which is kind of a cool idea. And I think I'm going to make a little ridge so the island actually pops up a little bit, like there's cliffs.
Yeah, like you see a little bit of 3D.
Yep. I really should do that in more places here on my coastlines, but it's a little late for that in most of these.
The coastline I know is the focus of a lot of people's cartography, but it's like the thing I actually have the least patience for.
Yep.
I just find myself halfway through it just like, God, kill me. When is this going to be over?
My method. It was good for a time, and now it's time to try something new. This one, actually, the guy said, my client said that he wanted a less jagged coastline in some places. So I am actually going to be, when I scan it in, kind of erasing some of my coastline, thanks to the good old fuzzy select tool. And thank God for that, man. And kind of smoothing some of it out, some of the areas that got a little too craggy for his taste, which that's cool. Understandable.
Right. Yeah, you can accidentally get into like fjord mode.
Yes.
Like everything is fjords.
Yep, exactly. And on this coast particularly, It's kind of, I don't even know if it's fjord mode, but it's just like it's consistently jagged. It's almost like too consistent, like kind of like I got in a rhythm of doing the same thing over and over with my hand. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
like going whoa 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 whoa.
Exactly.
That's what I hear in my mind when I'm doing fjords.
Mm-hmm. All right, up here I got to do some ruins of some kind, so I'm going to make basically they're Stonehenge-y type things.
Unheard of.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's wild.
Yep. You're going too far. Oh man, have you seen the new Transformers movie with the whole Stonehenge thing?
I have not.
Oh my God.
But feel free to spoil it for me because I probably won't see it.
Oh, I don't know. It's just
it's just ridiculous. Or
it's like, what a mind bender.
Yeah.
Stonehenge.
I knew it was related somehow. I knew it.
You wily old Stonehenge.
I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you damn Celts.
You meddling Celts.
I'm gonna get caught up on some chitty chat here. Sorry guys, I'm not keeping up real well. Just having too much fun with Hank and a map.
We're just chilling, doing what we do.
Oh, yeah, Chad says, yeah, let's. Oh, let's see it. All I got is a Runehammer. I think you might be camera muted or something.
All right, let me check it. What happened? Oh, what's going on there? Yes, share. If
you go to settings, I don't know.
Ouch.
If you need to, if you want to try to hang up and then rejoin with that link I sent you on Facebook, maybe that would work. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. While he's out, I'm gonna get caught up with some more comments. Chad, yeah, it was Marshawn Lynch. That's who it was, and Rob Gronkowski on the so Chad Nick, well added to my wish list now too. Cool, man. Hunter says he loves how I stacked the mountains. Thanks, man. A black and white map of this size. Hey, he's back.
I live. Beware, mortal.
Chad, it usually takes me I usually estimate about 30 hours, 20 hours, something like that. I don't know. Like, this is going to be scanned in. It's not going to stay black and white. So, yeah. Critical Masterpiece says he loves that foreground and background castle look that you got going, Hank. And I love it too. And, dealing with the black balance again, you'll have some white and then some black behind it. And it's just like, it looks dope.
Oh, on these guys here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Hunter Barnhart says, Hankerin, do you have a swamp? I'm itching for a good swamp design on a map.
I got a swamp. I got a few.
Give us a swamp.
So here's one of them where you got these sort of little houses on little rickets.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you got some little pondies and you got your cattails. You got to have your cattails.
Nice.
And then I've got a milder one, which is just trees and cattails.
Mm-hmm. I dig it.
And then way out on Ire over here, we have another one, which is like dead trees.
Yeah, nice. Bracken.
And then a lake, and some little waterfall, and some stuff going on there. But really, with swamp, it's all about like little grassy bits.
Yep, totally.
Like just keep doing these little guys, and then draw your grass and put a blob on it, and you got a cattail.
Yeah, I've never done the cattails. I like the look of that. I'm gonna have to try that sometime.
And then to do lakes and puddles, if you want to do this kind of false perspective that I do, you sort of like lean your hand to the side and then draw squiggles, and it'll look like they're squished in perspective. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but
yep.
But so you lean your hand over, and then you get like these type of lines, and it looks like it's kind of in this crazy perspective.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
It's completely contrary to a map. So like, I think in Nate, in your style, that might be a little too cartoony.
Yeah, it might be, but I love it.
And you just put your cattails right in there.
Mm-hmm. Diggable. Yeah, mine. I just I haven't changed my swamps much since I started drawing maps, so people have probably seen it before. But I kind of do squiggly, wavy lines, and then I do little tufts of grass. So, yep, squiggly, wavy lines. Some are just straight. Some are actually like almost look like little waves, which would look like water, but it's pretty obvious given my coastline that it's on land, so it doesn't. I don't think it messes with it too much. And
Right.
and yeah, just little grassy bits, like Hank said. Mm-hmm. All right. What was I working on? Oh yeah, I was working on my Stonehenge over here. Okay, so I think that's pretty much done there. Just little stones. I'll have to shade them in Photoshop a little bit.
Cool.
More trees. It's time for more trees.
Yeah, so I need to figure out what's in the south of my Deadlands now. This is like a swamp where no one goes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like walled in on the sides. But I didn't want it to just be swamp, so I need like something to round it out here at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like maybe I haven't done like a bramble kind of thing yet. So I'll do brambles. Brambles are kind of like doing like barbed wire.
Yeah, nice. I like that. I've never done anything like that before.
And then you just go in and you put little teeny ticks on them for the little thorns.
Your map stopped showing up for me. Well, no, I see it, but for some reason, I'm not sure if... Okay, let me try this again. All right, say something.
Hey-yo. I'm alive in 95.
Stop popping up for me. I wonder if... are people still seeing Hank's map when he talks and mine when I talk? I guess give me a yes or a no, folks.
Shabba-doo.
I can see your map. It's just staying on my little tiny screen. So no, you're good. It's not a setting on you. It's either. It seems like I have only me selected. You know how you can do that in Hangouts?
Yeah, you can click yourself.
Right, but I have no one selected, so it should just be popping up your map when you talk.
Every time's the first time, my brother.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, doing each little tree by hand here has been a good process for me, and I'm realizing that I do them too small, but that's okay.
You learn a lot about yourself when you're drawing 375 trees.
Mm-hmm. You learn a lot about what it means to be human.
That's right. Oh, yeah, this is cool. So there's like this realm of tangled thorns.
Sweet.
Just outside of Innsmouth down here, which is obviously my Lovecraft town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks so cool.
And like my Lovecraft town, the ground has like these weird etchings in it, like Dagon etchings.
Yes, I love that. That's so cool. So people are saying your map is popping up once in a while, but most people are saying it's not switching on a regular basis. So I'll have to manually, I guess, keep switching between me and you. Usually if it's like I have you selected, it'll show you, right? But then if I click you again, then it'll just go back to toggle
Yeah,
back
or
and
if you
forth.
click you and then you'll go back to you. That's what I do
Right.
when we're playing our online games.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be working as it should. So, oh well.
Yeah, I think the age of Hangouts might be drawing to a close. I'm really getting interested in Appear. I think that could be a good solution.
Yep, I'm gonna definitely check that out. I mean, I just heard it from you for the first time before we went live here. So when this stream is over, I'm headed over year to Appear.
Yep, see if we can, because it'd be really cool if we just had parallel map drawing.
Yes. Now the only reason that wouldn't be cool, I think, is for people on mobile or something like that. They probably wouldn't be able to see either of them very well. But for most people, I think it would be awesome. It would be worth it. So I also need to start kind of filling in some land here with things. And because it's a commission map, I don't feel like incredibly comfortable doing that, but I can always erase stuff in Photoshop. So it's going to be okay.
Yep. Well, you can always do little escarpments too. They always fit.
That is a word.
Little pieces of textural land.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, my last map, I admit I did not know what escarpments meant. My last map though was the first one where I like realized it was because the trees were all limited to one area. I realized that I need there's this imbalance. Like there's in the places where there's not trees, it doesn't look dark enough. And I don't think I quite accomplished it perfectly, but I got closer to doing better. I got closer to doing more better by just adding little texture to the land, little bits of grass and little hills and little just lines, even just I guess I'll select myself now. There we go. So like here I did a couple little hills, and then you can just do some like little lines, just like add some just very light etching lines, just add some texture, makes it look like some kind of land.
You can also you can get a little more of that like sort of woodcutty feel.
Yeah.
Like an Albrecht Dürer woodcut, just where there's like all these very, very small lines that are in parallel.
Yes.
And it can give you an old kind of a sensation.
Mm-hmm. Now show me what you mean.
So like Albrecht Dürer did these woodcuts. So if I were to continue this sort of little ridge line right here, kind of do this.
Gotcha. Yep.
So there all these little parallel sets, and they basically echo the wood cutting technique like used on money and stuff.
Yep. I like that. Yeah, that's cool.
And then you got to be careful. So if you come back out and you're like, whoa, it's like kind of getting a little like hair in there.
Mm-hmm.
At least for the style that I do, that's a little much, and that'll be a slippery slope for me.
Yeah.
So I like pull most of them out like that.
Yeah, totally.
But like if my screen is still up, so I just did this piece for the Roll for Effort guys. And I started just with a really heavy kind of black image, and these are the sort of their two personalities on YouTube that they're doing. And then I was kind of experimenting with this sort of etching line, kind of Albrecht Dürer kind of thing.
Yep. So yeah, I love like woodcut style. I never took any art classes or anything like that. My high school art program was really crappy, but I'm sorry if my art teacher is listening, but it's true.
One little tear.
So
he thought he made a difference.
But I remember really enjoying the process of printmaking, like what little tiny bit we did. And I've always thought, I don't have any tattoos. I know you're a tatted up fool, but I've always thought if I got a tattoo, when I get all my tats, my sleeves, some of them are going to be like woodcut style. I just really like that look.
Yeah, me too, man. Albrecht Dürer is the bomb.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's a lot of it you'll probably recognize from stuff like The Ninth Gate.
Okay.
He did a lot of that kind of super detailed kind of revelations kind of imagery.
Yep. Gotcha.
And just the skill involved is just bonkers, especially when you realize they did it in negative.
Oh man.
Because you know they're cutting where the ink won't be.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just
totally. That's
bloody
crazy.
brilliant.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Wow, when you zoom out, it's kind of dizzying. Oh yeah, hey, check out my North Colossus up here. So you know, in my world, the elves live on these islands way up north, and they use magic to keep it warm. But there's the North Colossus.
Oh man. Love that.
Like some big eyeless horn helmet thing.
Yep. Oh man, that's so cool. Now tell me about this font. Did you make this font, or is this
No, it's Tredatello, and then what I'll do is right at the end of my process, I burn all my font work down to one layer, and then I take an eraser and a pen and I kind of customize all the letters by hand.
Yeah, just kind of etch and take out little chunks and stuff.
Yeah, you take off a serif, and then yeah, maybe add a cross, like on a stem.
Yep.
Kind of on, you know, like Old English type rules, and just kind of make it your own.
Absolutely.
And I do that with almost all the font stuff that I do, and you know, all my work is wait till the end, burn it down, and then hand alter it.
Yeah, I dig that.
You always get a kind of a slightly off look from, you know, whatever the next guy may have.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And lately, I've been feeling good too. I've been actually contacting the makers of the fonts and making sure that they're paid.
That's awesome.
And that's a good feeling. I've never done that before.
Yeah, so I generally, if I'm doing it for a map, I'll just look for like the commercial free fonts or whatever. But you're telling me that you won't necessarily look for those, or are you still taking those and contacting the artist?
Well, I just shop on what I need.
Yep.
And then once I know I need it, I just cope.
Yep. Gotcha.
You know, if I know I need a font, then I need that font, and it's non-negotiable.
Right.
So at that point, then I just have to find out what I have to do to make sure I get the font.
Yep.
So I always just choose on what I'm wanting it to look like.
Yep. Absolutely. That's great. I like that. And you know, in the long run, like that's probably not going to mean you purchasing a whole lot of fonts. Like it's just going to be, you know, you're probably going to have a certain wheelhouse of cool fonts.
Yeah, like you know, ICRPG is just 3 fonts.
Yep.
And they're just sort of happy-go-lucky kind of tone. And once you have that good choice, I feel like you can really, if you make good choices, then it won't get old on you.
Yeah, totally.
The one danger with cool fonts is they can be like, oh, God, I'm so tired of looking at this shenanigans in this font.
Yeah. Yep. Simple is better in general.
Yeah. Yep.
I at the beginning of the school year every year, I'll go download a bunch of fonts to like put on my school stuff, my handouts for my students and note sheets and
that's awesome.
But I only do the title of like the handout in a crazy font. Like the rest has got to be, you know. But yeah.
How old kids do you teach?
What's that?
How old are kids?
High school.
Nice.
Yep. So I got social studies.
That's cool, man.
It's fun.
You're making the world a better place.
I'd like to think so. Some days.
Oh, I forgot my chopped off mountain stumps. Okay, let's get back to these.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
Mountain stumps.
So how did this happen? Or is this just kind of natural, kind of plateau type things?
I was thinking that actually it was like it was a result of overmining.
Mm-hmm.
They actually like lopped off the tops of these mountains
Yep.
to like build Ramthus Rock down here or to build the wall.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a deforested zone, only it's a demounted zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
And a lot of my stuff is sort of geographically ridiculous, but it can lead to good adventure hooks, which is my main sort of priority.
Yep. And I think that's knowing your goal is important when you're drawing a map.
Yeah.
Because I have made the mistake of wavering between goals. And it's not that you can't have more than one, but you got to understand, what am I going to prioritize? So fun over, accuracy or, yeah. And there's still certainly, some level of accuracy we're all going for. It's just about how much.
I think like know your tone too. Like,
yep.
Are you trying to suggest a world where, like vampires are dwindling and they're desperately clinging to their fading empire? Or is it a world where, frickin' Orko is calling comets down to blow up He-Man?
Yeah.
Like those are extremely different, and like it'd make your life a lot easier if you know what you're going for, so you don't like the stuff I'm doing would never ever work for like some sort of White Wolf type stuff. It would just talk about a mismatch. Oh my gosh.
Yep. And that's something I haven't like done too much of, mainly because I'm not super comfortable yet going outside of a certain style. But it is helpful when I have a sense of the world. Like when I did the Aeronaut map, like I played D&D in that world, and that helped.
Right. Yeah, that's huge.
And then the Dragon Grin map, I started working on about a year ago, and it, me and Tim both came to the realization about the same time that like I don't think this is going to work. What you're going for, the style, which I think is going to be awesome, is not in my is not what I'm able to achieve.
Yeah, it's extremely bombastic.
Right.
Yeah. Like with those crazy mining operations out at sea, and
right.
Like they have so many big crazy sights and sounds in that world.
Yes. And it's just yeah, exactly. So it was something that was like, I could do this, but I think it would benefit from someone, he wanted, I mean, kind of like your map, actually, like more illustrations on the map. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, you're good at that. I'm not there yet in terms of, I mean, to some level I am, but yeah, it's a little bit more of like, this is clearly a map. I'm not drawing colossi or
right, yeah,
or
little miniature things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do a lot of little miniature thingies. That's definitely my jam.
Right. So I think he went with he's going with John Pintar, who they use for a lot of stuff, and he's an awesome cartographer.
He did Stone Rift, right?
Yeah, he did the Stone Rift map. He's done,
yeah,
and he's just done a lot of. I mean, he's an illustrator, whereas I'm just like I draw maps within a certain style range. But I can't wait to see what they do with it. I think they'll probably wait for their Dead Man's Guide Kickstarter to really see, probably based on the Kickstarter, what they can afford and go bonkers.
Yeah, I've been missing them. They've kind of been on the down low for lately. I guess they're kind of stacking up a little bit of a video repertoire and laying low, working on Oath probably.
Yeah, I think probably Oath of the Frozen King is they're delivering on that Kickstarter is probably consuming most of their time.
Yeah, it's crazy thing with Kickstarter of like getting the adrenaline bump first and then doing the work. I found that to be very difficult for my mindset.
Yes. And
like the whole adrenaline of the project, not the money, but the project, where you're just like, oh wow, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. And then it kind of, the endorphins kind of wear off, and then you got to do all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's intense. I'm really used to like feeding off of audience response.
Mm-hmm.
So if the audience responds, I lean in on a thing.
Yeah.
And if they've already responded, man, it can be tough.
Yeah, totally. Yep. Then they're very aware of that effect. I mean, they've seen it in Kickstarters. We all have. Anyone who's backed a Kickstarter or who's been backed multiple Kickstarter has seen the promises, the adrenaline, and then, oh crap, I actually have to like do this. And you're excited for a little bit, but then it gets to be a grind. And people, and with the stretch goals, you got in over your head, and it's just, yep. It's a effect they're well aware of, and I think they're doing a good job of avoiding, but it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Gonna get caught up in some comments here. Way behind. Sorry, guys. Just in the groove. I like the Critical Masterpiece. Masterpiece says, I like the Geo Ridiculous only because it is fantasy, not real life. And yeah, I'm with you there. I like that too. I'm imagining the excuse me. Adrian Aguirre, greetings from Peru. Greetings to you. Mm-hmm.
They got D&D in Peru?
Yeah, that's a good question. Do they? I have actually wondered this because I was a Spanish major in college, and I actually taught high school Spanish for a couple of years, and I want to know about D&D in Spanish and Espanol.
Well, they got Marca del Este. That's what they were playing when I was in Spain.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's cool. I have not been to Spain. Jarclor says, did he sketch it out first or did he go straight to ink? I sketched it out first. Hankerin is just doing it on the tablet and, straight up drawing things. But you did have like a rough coastline before you finalized it, right, Hank?
I did, because I wanted it to match the free supplement that I put out last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like doing those kind of steps.
Yeah.
I'm not a sketcher at all. I've always just had pens. I've just never had pencil.
Yeah.
And so
and
pencil feels so odd to me.
Yeah. What I will do is I will kind of like maybe circle an area that I want. I guess I should show my map here. I'll like circle an area where I know I want a mountain range. And I'll just draw I'll just draw a couple little like pencil peaks. And then I'll actually go in with my pen and draw the actual mountains.
It can help for giving your pen hand confidence.
Yeah.
Because you don't want your pen hand to be asking, where am I headed?
Right.
The more you just know where you're going, the smoother everything's going to be. Right.
So yeah, 2 years ago or whatever, I would have shirked at the idea of just drawing a mountain. But now it's like, yeah, here's a mountain. I don't have one there now, but now there is. And here's another one. And it's just kind of, it feels good to be able to do that. But yeah, it's something that took time getting confident. And I still will sketch a lot of things, but
all right. I wanted to do a glacier, and I do not know how to draw that.
Okay, so I did one on the Aeronaut map, and I'm in hindsight, I feel bad saying this, but I'm not happy with how it turned out. So I'd be very interested to see what you do. But what
that's a complex set of shapes.
It is, man. And you know what complicates it? I've never seen a glacier. I think I just did kind of a big slab, and then kind of did the ridge thing.
Right, where it's calving.
Yeah, and so, but I I didn't necessarily like how it turned out. And it might have just been my execution. That idea might be sound. It was just my execution. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just going to dive in and see what happens.
Jeff Haley says, what about a vortex in the water? I like that. I've done that before.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Yeah, so.
Let me jump right over to that. I got to have one of those.
Yeah, you do.
Right down here.
Now I'm going to watch how you do it, and then I'm going to copy you. Oh, yeah. See, yeah, yours is more of it's got the isometric perspective, which I dig.
Yep. I get to do that cheating because I'm silly. And then, of course, there's one cool, like, rocky promontory breaking it.
Yes.
Like, right on the top of that is where the dark priest stands and calls the thing forth.
Yep. And I'm just doing a couple light ones here that I will probably fancy up in Photoshop a little bit with some actual shading and highlights, but I dig that. That's cool. And I think I've got this guy actually has a couple of them on his map. Okay, so perfect. So I'll do another one right here. This is just a sea of storms.
Nice. The Maelstrom.
Yeah.
It's like where there's a hole in the bottom of the ocean and the water's draining out into the next dimension.
Yeah.
Naturally. I mean, duh.
Duh, of course. What else would it be?
Of course. Stupid dimension drain. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, cool idea. Whoever had that idea, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Love it.
Hunter Barnhart says, yeah, those Navajo mesas are great. Hey, WSD20, I know you said this was a newish pursuit for you, but you definitely have mad skill, man. Well, thank you. So what else people are saying here? Fun fact. Cool.
What's the fun fact?
Fun fact. Voluknir, is that a name on your map or something? Voluknir?
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
One of the characters in a fantasy series I shot through my mind. He shot it through his mind.
Cool.
Not the colors you see in my channel picture, but similar colors. I'm not sure quite what that means, but cool. Nether Rabbit. He has an awesome name. And it's his first time watching. Welcome, Nether Rabbit. Watching live, rather. I see someone hailing Conan of Samaria. I approve.
Give me food for when wolves come.
I can dig on some Conan, that's for sure.
Oh,
I actually had never read any Conan until probably about a year and a half ago. I asked Click. I was like, Matt, help me out. Where do I start? He sent me a link, and it was like, okay, I'm in. And it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yep, I'd seen the movie, the Arnold movie, but I hadn't seen it till about probably 3 years ago. It was the first time I watched that movie, actually.
Oh, and that's awesome.
And then I watched the cartoon when I was in 6th grade. I would wake up early. I would wake up early in the morning before school to watch the cartoon at 7 a.m.
I didn't know there was a cartoon.
Yeah, Conan, the adventurer. Conan, warrior without fear. He's more powerful than anything. His legend spreads across the land at sea. Dun, 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 dun. Conan. And yeah.
Stream highlight right there.
All right, I'm floundering here. Where am I going with my map? Okay, I'm going to do some more. I need to do a little more terrain and stuff. I'm going to do a little river coming out of this this lake right here because it's so close to the coastline. It's got to have a little river there. It's got to.
Oh, none. Oh, that's awesome.
It was a ridiculous cartoon. it was probably terrible, but you know, I was in 6th grade. It was awesome.
I used to get up early to watch Mazinger back in the day.
Mm.
Because it was like on this weird UHF channel that didn't seem quite legit. Like maybe they were stealing the episodes or something.
Yeah.
It felt sketchy for some reason, but back then, man, Mazinger just seemed like just mind-blowing.
Yeah, I've never seen that one. In fact, I don't even know if I've heard of it.
A Voltron predecessor.
Okay, so how do you spell it? I'm going to write it down here.
Oh, it's Mazinger.
Mazinger. Okay.
Yeah, also known as Trenzor Z.
Okay, Trenzor Z. Wrote it right across my mountain range here. This mountains are now the Mazinger Mountains. No, not really. All right.
Doing some cactus needles over here.
Let me check that out. Let me check you out. Mappening says Thundercats for me. Oh man, yeah. Thundercats were good.
Yeah, buddy. Mum Ra is a real tool, though. He didn't make much of a bad guy, but great cartoon.
Yeah. Yep, it was.
Mum Ra just could not get his act together, man.
He could not. And it was, yeah. They needed a little more variety in the bad guy department in that show. Silverhawks was another one that I watched, and I just cannot remember anything about it.
No, the bad guy in that was Monstar.
Okay.
And he had that squid ship that he drove around.
See, I don't remember. I just remember like there's Bluegrass. Was that the guy with the cowboy hat?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. and he had blue.
And he had like a space guitar too.
Yes. Anyway, I hardly remember anything about that show, but man, I remember loving it.
Well, that helped a lot. My cacti were looking a lot like field goals, but now they look like cacti.
Yeah, I dig it. Very cool.
Going on.
Voltron.
And you got to watch out getting a song in my head, man. I'm just like,
I remember when
all I hear in my mind is going on.
You know, it worked out well when we were playing ICRPG over at AtCon.
Oh yeah.
And you just in the game just kept going dun dun
dun dun dun.
Because that was the theme of the game. What was it? War Pigs, right? By Black Sabbath. Yeah. Yep. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
For sure.
All right, I need a few more cacti to round it out here. I think they're up by Lizard Rock. Oh, none.
People are going crazy in the chat here talking about memories. Got a very active chat, guys. Thank you for tuning in and for chatting it up.
It is definitely crazy how things that were given a lot of grief and hard times in the 80s have now become so out in the open and beloved.
Yes.
But in my day, you know, like if you're talking Thundercats or something, like you pretty much be made fun of for that.
Oh yeah.
You know, much less stuff.
Yep.
Like if you're like, I don't know, when I was reading Spawn, you know, I had it in my head like Spawn was the future, man. It was like
Yep.
everything was going to change, which it in some ways did. You know, Spawn really changed comics a lot.
It did.
But
You know,
in that day, you know, I was just a complete reject for like being into Spawn. You know?
Yep. I hear you.
Even if you're into X-Men, which is really mainstream, you're a big dork for reading comics at all, you know. And now it's just like, well, of course you think X-Men are cool. I mean, duh.
Yeah. Yep. Quite the turnaround.
Quite the turnaround.
Spawn was my jam. It was the comic. It was the only comic that I would buy like every issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Same here.
I'd get some that were like, you know, I'd go for about 5 in a row, and then I get sick of it. But Spawn, I was like, I think I got issues 1 through 40 or something up in my parents' attic.
Yeah, the only other one that I had that much following with was the Uncanny X-Men in like the 200s, which was when they were doing the whole Shi'ar Empire and the Super Skrulls and stuff.
Yep.
And kind of went a little bit into Infinity War, although I didn't get too far into it. But I was so freaking into when I found out like there's a Wolverine with like a space helmet on. I was just glued.
Yep.
And I used to get the subscriptions too, so they would come to my house.
Oh man.
Like, you know, in a manila envelope, you get your comics, you know, and it'd just be awesome.
That is.
It's like your $11 of comics every month, and it was just like, and freaking tastic. Go hide in your room and nerd out on your new copy of EXO or whatever, some weird, or like Pit. I used to read Pit.
I don't remember Pit.
I'd be like, oh man, new episode of Pit is out, and it's exactly like the last one. He's killing people. All right, I'm back to my glacier at last.
Nice. I'm digging it. The Look Near Game says I used to play Magic. That was another thing, man. If you played Magic, I mean, the cool kids were not playing Magic at lunch. They were breakdancing and playing football.
Yeah. Lollygagging.
But
a lot of lollygagging by cool people in my day.
Yeah, I got a deck of Magic cards when I was in middle school, but I don't think I ever actually played. I would have loved to, but I don't think
I'm a little too old for that.
Yeah.
Magic wasn't out when I was young.
Yeah. For me, I think it came out when I was probably in 7th grade. It was like when it was first released, and I was in, you know, North Seattle. It was like, that's where it was released. Wait, actually, I don't know if it was. Wizards of the Coast ended up buying it from.
Yeah.
Was it California? Maybe someone started it. Anyway, the early days were up there in the Northwest. Did you ever go to Wizards of the Coast stores, Hank?
No.
Yeah, I had one at my local mall, and it was amazing. Man, they had pewter miniatures all over the place. They had a big old dragon, like an actual dragon thing, you know, like model, huge, full scale type of thing. Oh man, that place was
nice.
Fun. Yeah, but that was before they owned D&D. They still had some of that stuff, I think. Actually, I don't know when they bought D&D. Seems like late 90s.
Yeah, it's when TSR like screwed up their finances and
yep,
fell to pieces and didn't fight for the rights and all that drama that went down.
Yep. Yeah. But anyway, I was not playing D&D at the time. I think I ended up buying my friend ended up buying some pewter miniatures when we were there. For Hero Quest, actually. But that didn't last. So I'm going to start
during that time was one of the biggest campaigns that I ever did. It was my college campaign.
Okay, yep.
was from about 91 to 95.
Yeah.
Played a lot of Street Fighter and a lot of D&D second edition.
I had the Street Fighter bit. I did not. Man, I would have been so into D&D, and it never had the chance, never had the exposure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the dorms are the ultimate place to play D&D.
Yeah, I believe that.
I mean, you got time. Everybody's right around you. There's never a problem with like scheduling or finding players or any of that stuff, and you can just play game after game, and
that's awesome.
That was a good time.
Yep. I believe college dorms are the setting of the the movie Mazes and Monsters with Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, totally. Pardue.
Oh man.
Yeah. And our town was perfect for it too, because we had steam tunnels too.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The devil's playground.
Then we saw a short film at Gen Con. God, what was it called? Darkest Dungeon.
Oh.
And it was like a spoof on, college role playing gone horribly wrong.
Okay, yep.
It was
That's kind of cool.
Great, man. And everyone in that room got every single joke. So the unity of that room to think it was funny was really, really good.
Yeah, that's great. Oh man, I gotta go someday. That old Gen Con.
Yeah, man, it's a real hoot.
Have you ever been to PAX?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I definitely prefer Gen Con.
Yeah. Why?
PAX is video gaming, and I'm not really I love video games. I worked on them a lot, but I'm not really, can't say that I'm a true school video game head.
Yep.
I feel a little bit like a poser around people who are really into video games. I'm a bit of a tourist.
Yep.
Whereas with RPGs, I'm no tourist at all. I've been here the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
That's a good feeling when you're at the con, because that's when you're really neck deep in it.
Yeah. Yep, that makes total sense. I just think PAX would be an easy one for me to get to just because I have family in the Seattle area. So that's one that I'm like, I should probably go to that sometime. I went to Seattle Comic-Con a couple times as a kid, but I don't think it was very big back then. I don't know how big it is now.
Emerald City?
Emerald
City Con?
It was at Seattle Center. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's Emerald City.
Okay, yep. In the exhibition house or whatever.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that was cool. I remember digging on that as a middle schooler, just loving, meeting the artists and getting them to sign my books, and
that's crazy.
Getting a bunch of cheap comics, and it was heaven, man. My parents would just drop us off and pick you up in 4 hours. Okay.
That is cool. I always wind up just being like, whatever, when I'm around people that I really love their work.
Yep.
Like I was at Gen Con looking at these Edward Rice Burroughs novels, and somebody rotated the rack on me.
Yep.
So I looked up to see who it was, and it's just Mike Merle standing there.
Oh man.
And he's just looking through the novels, and instead of being like, "Oh, dude, hey man, you're awesome and everything you've done is great," and instead of saying that, I was like, "Do you have Princess of Mars on that side of the rack?" Just completely skipped the whole thing, and just kind of, I'm still looking. He's like, "No, I don't think they have that one. That's the first one, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's Mars #1." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't think they have it here." Oh man.
Yep.
Bummer. That's the coolest one.
That's funny. Yeah. See, I would have geeked out and made a fool of myself personally.
I wanted to. It just didn't happen.
Yep.
I did it a little bit when I met Matt Mercer out on the street.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of geeked out a little, but I totally forgot to take a selfie.
Yep.
Because I was just like, "Yeah, you're so good looking."
Your hair, good Lord, the hair.
It's blowing in the breeze.
got a confession to make. I didn't think it was real, but now.
Yep. No, it's real. I can testify. He is one handsome dude.
Now, Matt Colville's hair, on the other hand, I'm still not convinced on whether it's real. Gonna need to. Matt Colville,
he has the eagle.
Go ahead.
He's the man eagle.
Yeah, he is.
Man, is his channel blowing up or what?
Yeah.
Good Lord, he gets like 80K views on stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yep.
It's nuttiness.
Yep. You know, I think he's just he's a super experienced DM who's just hitting like, I mean, I don't mean this in a pejorative way at all. He's hitting the basics of like, but in a way that is so well versed and steeped in.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
In like in D&D, and it's just so it's yeah.
I mean, he's also, you know, been around quite a bit, so
exactly
those connections and all that stuff really pays off. It's like when I was talking to John Harper the other night, you know, and it's easy to forget, like some of these guys are putting in 25 years.
Yes.
So that when they roll up to do YouTube, it's just like, pow, it's right there, you know, so it's not like they come out of nowhere.
Right.
It's just easy to forget.
Yep. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit on my work here using my trusty Alduin. Let's see. Hey, it is me, guys. Sorry if you're getting motion sickness here. I tend to apologize a lot for that because I actually do get motion sick sometimes.
I'm sorry if God made you like he made me.
Mm-hmm. I would get car sick as a kid, and it was just like, it was the pits. I can't read in the car to this day. All right, so what I've been working on here is actually on my trees, my forests. Let me see if I can adjust my camera better. My goodness, it's not going well. There we go. So I've been kind of doing a little, I don't know what I would call it. I decided that it would look better if I drew little lines to the, on this side of my forests. So I've been just kind of, maybe they're shadows. I think they're shadows. So I've been working on that here. And yeah, I did do some like land texture type of stuff here. So I need to do more of this sort of thing around the rest of the map to fill in some of the blank spaces. Some of it still needs trees, but yeah. What about you, Hankerin? What you working on there?
Well, I was just wandering around here doodling, and then I noticed a cool little like nomad tent. I hadn't really done anything with that motif, so I'm doing a little sort of a town of these nomad tents.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'm gonna try this view for a little while and see if see how that works. I think I'm gonna do some roads here. Now your method of roads I like, and I might end up erasing what I do here with pen, because you just draw a line and then you go in and erase.
Yeah, I actually need a road like right here, so I just do a nice smooth line like that.
Hold on. Okay, where's the line? Do it again. There we go.
Right there. So there's my smooth line, and then I just draw a squiggle with an eraser like that.
There you go. Yep. So I can't really do that.
You always get a match on your roads, so they, you know, when you come back out, you can see them from afar.
Right. It lines up.
Yeah, you can sense like, oh look, there's more roads there and less roads there, and so on. Wow, man, I'm getting filled in here.
You are, man. Looking great.
It's crazy. Holy nuts.
Love it. So for my roads, I'm gonna try this. We'll see how it goes. I should get a thicker pen. Not my 005, but rather my 01. There we go. I'm gonna try this here. We'll see how it goes. Dotted line. Through the forest.
Down one click.
And this line goes all the way down to this here city. There we go. My first road.
Nice. Everybody has to look at my window within a window so I can check your stuff out here. I like that closer angle. This is cool.
Yeah, it's a little hard to focus. Like this part's in focus. This is not, but we'll try it for a little while.
You're gonna have to hire a lens puller.
I will. Yep. Yep. All that YouTube income is gonna.
Yep. Take that $70. Anything could happen.
It's funny. It is. You know what? I figure at least it is for me a self-sustaining thing where I can buy an RPG book once in a while with this YouTube money and not feel so guilty about taking away from my my family's ability to pay our mortgage or groceries, you know.
No doubt.
Or a video game or yep, it helps. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about the Patreon stuff. It's like that's yeah, for someone the size of our channel, like it's not happening in terms of providing steady good income via YouTube. That's fine. There are other ways, and for me, a lot of that's making maps. For you, you've got your Patreon thing going, and you've got your publishing and all kinds of stuff, and
it's just not gonna be a pleasant life to try to look at YouTube and be frustrated that there are freeloaders.
Yeah,
like you're not gonna have fun with it. So
right.
It's just a great way, I think, for people to discover you because it is so free.
Mm-hmm.
So they can just wander around on YouTube. They don't have to worry about a commitment. And so, you don't want to be looking at it like expecting some kind of windfall or something like it. It's just not
right.
Not the purpose of it. But I think that's what's so cool about Patreon is it lets people speak up and say like, I want to actually kick in.
Yep, totally. I got my first YouTube tip on, well, not my first YouTube tip, but it was my first tip on a live stream.
Nice.
A couple weeks ago, and it was $5, which is awesome. That was so cool of somebody. And YouTube, I realized a couple days later, they took like $1.50 of that tip.
Yep.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yep.
That is ridiculous. Patreon takes a cut too, but it's not as bad. I don't think, anyway. So yeah. Anyway, I got a job that I like, so that helps.
All right, I'm starting to get a little more pensive now. So here's a little fun sneak peek. So this is my InDesign window here.
Yeah.
So this is the ICRPG Worlds book.
Sweet.
So when it goes into Alfheim, it actually does this kind of, like regional breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then each one of these regions gets a sort of treatment like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool.
And so then you kind of get your breakdown, which are like the sort of the items that are going to be useful if you're making adventures or you're traveling or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, occasionally some people from that area are going to pop up and stuff like that. So that's where all this work kind of goes.
Yeah.
Is find its way into InDesign and ultimately down to the print book.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for that preview. That's super cool.
Yeah. So the Worlds is well underway, which is, it's the hardest part is always starting. Like to start, especially a very large project, can be kind of just like,
yes.
Where are my hands?
Totally. Yep. Man, this is looking so good. So with the water, you just kind of darkened it a tad bit.
Yeah.
You
So
actually
I have
use a color, or was it a overlay layer?
I have the sort of inverted selection from the regions.
Yeah.
So it just grabbed all the regions and sort of inverted that, and then
and then you
just barely opaque over my paper texture.
Gotcha. Yep. That's cool. Yeah, I do something pretty similar. I end up usually using an overlay layer and fill it in all black, and then I usually adjust the opacity to like, I don't know, anywhere from 50 to 80% usually. Probably more
Yeah,
like.
yeah. And when you're working with color, that overlay can be real nice too, because you get that stain,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
stain magic.
Mm-hmm. Well, Hank, I think we might be calling it quits soon here.
Awesome. That's perfect timing. I got to cook some dinner.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Everyone should check out Hankerin's work on Patreon. Link in the description. Doing some audio magical storytelling awesomeness. Everyone should check out his YouTube channel too. And I didn't mention ICRPG, but where is that? Where is that book?
Oh, I'm sure everyone will bump into it.
Yeah, I don't see it. Anyway, I was gonna plop it down here to see the beauty, but yeah, thanks for joining me, man. It's been really cool. We'll do it again sometime soon, I'm sure. You're in the regular rotation now. This is your second time on the Mappening.
Yeah, I love it. I love just sort of sitting here and doing what we do. It's just it's very comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in, and yeah, everyone have a good night. Happy gaming, happy mapping.
Yeah, see y'all later, Nate. Check you later, man.
Cool. Adios.